but take a look at that one. Well, let me quickly go over it. So when I create a class, I have to test it. I have to test it to be sure it's working before I give it to my project. So the whole project is going to consist of multiple groups, multiple people. When we were working on airport security, we had 96 people working on that project. And the highest number, we had like 5 or 6 people working together in one location. So it was all over the United States, all over the places. So our group was supposed to do certain things. We would do it, we would test it, we would be sure it's okay, then give it to the repository somewhere, and other people would do the same thing. And then at the end, they would put it all together and test it and be sure it's working. So everything that I do, I have to test. You have seen the testing. I'm going to create a main that's going to be testing my class. So when I test my class, I have to create an object of that one. I have to test every method that I have in there to be sure everything is working. So what we have been doing is we were creating a new test. This is not a new program. This is just testing my class. So when I do a main, it's just doing the testing of my class. If I have a project, I might have multiple classes in the same project, but every class has to be tested. So we're going to create a new object or two. So if I have a default constructor and I have a constructor with one parameter, maybe I want to create 2 objects, one with a default constructor, one with the parameter, to be sure that they are working. So one of them should have a balance of 0. The other one should have a balance of whatever I put in there. We're going to be executing the methods. I am picky on that one. I would execute all the methods. I want to check every single thing that I have. Even though I think that they are working perfectly, I'm going to be testing them. So some of you might see something as a test engineer, that we're going to hire you for this gaming company and you're responsible for testing. I would never, ever do that job. So basically, you're not playing games, you're just trying to figure out what's going wrong. So you got to be particular about what's happening every single time. So that's the testers at the end of the program. So we're going to be doing checking every method. We're going to check all the results, and we're going to be sure that they are doing what they are supposed to do. There is something called BlueJ. I had a couple of students last semester, they tried that and they played with it. So this is an environment that you can test one thing at a time. So you can, in this case, put the stuff in there and it's going to test it for you. I would suggest you, if you have time, to play with it. We generally, what we do is we create a main, we create an object, we put something in there, we draw, and then we check to be sure it's going to be okay. So when you are doing a new project, generally your IDE is going to create a folder for you. I would strongly suggest to look at that folder to know what's going on in there. In the Mac, you might have 2 different folders, one somewhere else. In PC, generally they are next to each other. Your object file versus your source code. So if I want to do it manually, I want to create a subfolder. I want to put the classes in there, and then I would compile and run them.